Okay, we're going to talk about a low bar squat here. Low bar squat, called so because the bar sits lower on your back than it does in a conventional squat. This is also more of an Olympic style squat. So what we need to do beforehand is make sure that you can perform the movement correctly without any weight, and then we'll work on adding the bar and making sure that the form stays the way it's supposed to. So first thing, this is what it's supposed to look like. From profile here, we'll talk about the stance momentarily, but this is what you need to be able to do before you even consider doing this move. Feet flat on the ground, hips back, go down all the way, and if your feet stay flat on the floor and you feel like you've got some good balance here, you can go side to side a little bit, you can kind of lean forward, lean back. If you don't feel like you're going to get blown over by a stiff breeze, this is pretty good. If you can do this, you're good to go. So let's talk about the stance. Let's go a little wider than shoulder width apart, and your feet are going to point out anywhere from 15 to 30 degrees. So I need you to experiment with this a little bit because the stance is going to vary depending on your hip structure. So you may need to try it a little bit wider, maybe a little narrower. I would err on the side of going a little bit wider just to play around with that. So what we'll do beforehand, just to start, is we'll go down in that position. You're going to go all the way down. So there's no tension on the legs right here. You should be able to stay down here indefinitely. If this is comfortable, great, you're good to go. If it's a little uncomfortable on the hips, it feels like it's pulling it or a little tight, then adjust your stance, either in or out. A little more narrow, a little wider, just to make sure that you're comfortable here. Once you're down here, you're going to put your elbows inside your knees and then just push them out. So you're going to stretch the adductors on the inside of the leg. Just get a good stretch there. And then what I'd like you to do also is remove the elbows and see if you can keep your knees in that stretched out position. You're going to be using the outer part of your hips here to pull your knees apart. So it's important that your knees stay pulled apart throughout the entire squat. That's going to help activate more of your lower body and help you get more into the squat. So that being the case, this is what the movement looks like. So with that stance, that comfortable stance that you should be very familiar with, all you're doing is going down and back up. So you're bottoming out on each squat. You're not hanging down at the bottom of the squat for any length of time, but you're not bouncing out of it violently either. This should be very healthy for the knees if you do it correctly. So let's assume the position here under the bar. What I'd like you to do is grip the bar with a fairly narrow grip. This is going to end up having your trapezius contracted when the bar is on your back. That's going to create a shelf for the bar to sit on. So it should look a little something like this. We're also going to go with a thumbless grip. So your fingers and thumbs go around the same side of the bar. That's going to increase your wrist and elbow and shoulder mobility just a little bit more. So we'll get the bar back there. Take one small step back with each foot. Get yourself in the correct position. And then go down just like you did when there was no bar on your back. And so what I also want you to do is focus on trying to drive through the center of your foot. So distribute your weight between your heel and the ball of your foot evenly. Looking down at the ground about 5 to 6 feet in front of you, down, straight back up, just like that.